We're joined now by Israel's ambassador to the United States, Yaakov Leiter. Mr. Ambassador, we should point out that the cameras have been ushered out of the room there at the G7 in Kananaskis, so we will hear nothing from President Trump, at least in the immediate minutes ahead. But we did hear from him earlier saying that he believes that Iran has made entreaties to the United States and potentially to Israel as well to de-escalate this and maybe return to the bargaining table. This is what the president said.
They'd like to talk, but they should have done that before. I had 60 days, and they had 60 days, and on the 61st day, I said, we don't have a deal. They have to make a deal, and it's painful for both parties, but I'd say Iran is not winning this war, and they should talk, and they should talk immediately before it's too late.
Mr. Ambassador, what do you make of what we're hearing from Iran about potential de-escalation and maybe returning to talks?
Well, good afternoon, John, Sandra. Look, the Iranians have been talking now for 15 years. And as they've been talking, they've been developing their nuclear arsenal. They've been enriching uranium to the point where it's weapons grade, where they could pair it with delivery systems. So the president gave them 60 days to agree to dismantle themselves this nuclear weapon system. They rejected, and we decided to act on the 61st day after a very damning report by the IAEA, which basically proved everything that our prime minister has been saying throughout the last decade and a half. They're moving towards a nuclear weapon, and they're going to use the weapon.
So would it be safe to say that you don't trust Iran as far as you could throw them?
I don't want to throw anybody, but I think they've proven that they're not a regime that can be trusted. This is a very dark, middle-aged kind of regime. It terrorizes their own people. It's interested in terrorizing the region. They very clearly talk about degrading the Western civilization and destroying Israel. So we don't have time. We are in a struggle really for our survival. Look, this began really on October 7th when their proxies attacked our citizens. They slaughtered 1,200 of our people in one day. This was all instigated, funded, and trained by Iran. It continued for a year and a half through Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and now we're at the head of the snake. If they want a ceasefire, all they have to do is say they are going to terminate their intention of destroying Israel. They're going to take apart their weapons program. They're going to stop the ballistic missiles program. They're going to stop firing missiles into our civilian population centers, and they're going to become a normal state actor, not a bad actor.
So, Mr. Ambassador, on the subject of the head of the snake, it's been reported, and we got confirmation from the White House, that the president has vetoed any plan that Benjamin Netanyahu may have had in the early hours of this conflict, at the very least, of going directly after the Ayatollah. We were told by a senior U.S. administration official, have the Iranians killed an American yet? No. Until they do, we're not even talking about going after the political leadership. But a question to you, Mr. Ambassador, that if the Ayatollah is allowed to come out of this, do you just return to the same way that the relation has been for the past 40 years? Does there need to be regime change in Iran for there to be a fundamental change in the structure of the Middle East?
Well, John, it's a great question, but it's not one really for me and my country to answer. The people of Iran have to choose their regime. Right now, the Ayatollah is looking left and he's looking right. He's not seeing too many of his military command that have been given the responsibility of developing weapons of mass destruction to destroy Israel. So if the people of Iran choose to rise up and oppose what the Ayatollahs have wrought upon their country now for 46 years, which is extensive poverty, except for a small number of people who run the army, the military, and their terrorist organizations and their proxies. Well, that's for the Iranian people to do. And if we historically will have facilitated that for the Iranian people, then we get a mark of accomplishment in our history.
I want to ask you quickly, Mr. Ambassador, just to close it out here, about the Fordo nuclear enrichment facility, which is buried deep under a mountain. Our General Jack Keane earlier today said that if the Ayatollah escapes with that facility still intact, that he could rebuild and reconstitute his nuclear program. Does Israel need to go after Fordo, and can it do it alone, or does it need the cooperation of the United States with those massive ordnance penetrators to get to that target deep underground?
John, I'm not going to get into the specifics about particular nuclear sites. what they're producing and how they can be neutralized. I can tell you this. We are not going to conclude this strike against Iran for all of its potential for the creation of ballistic missiles that can deliver nuclear warheads is eliminated. This is the object, this is our goal, and this is what we're going to stick to, whether it's Fordo or elsewhere. We have a few tricks up our sleeves. We've proven that there's an awful lot that we can accomplish, and we're not going to leave this mission while Iran still has a capability of racing towards a nuclear bomb. It's that simple.
All right, you said that you're not going to stop until you eliminate their potential for creating ballistic missiles. But what about the nuclear program? Do you need to eliminate that as well?
Oh, clearly, I talked about the ballistic missiles as a delivery system for a nuclear weapon. We're talking about both the enrichment of uranium to nuclear grade and ballistic missiles. Right now, we are absorbing ballistic missiles shot into our population centers. They're producing some 120 per month. We can't allow them to have thousands of ballistic missiles, as we cannot allow them to have a nuclear weapon. Both are a strategic survival threat to our country.
Great. I just want to make sure that I had clarity on that. Mr. Ambassador, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. I'm sure that we'll get a chance to talk again.
Thank you, John. Good afternoon.
Thank you, sir.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.